I joined the Navy in 1940. I was on the heavy cruiser, 10,000 ton, USS San Francisco. We were in the second most battles fought in the Pacific, and had been in Pearl Harbor 1 full year when the World War II started. We just finished eating breakfast. They said, men on deck with rifles. We ran back to the fantail, which was taken out, and got back there, and them Japanese planes were everywhere. Some of them wasn't as high as this building. You can see the guy there, and he's got a machine gun. He's machine gunning everybody. Ships blowing up, ships are burning. Now, can you imagine when a torpedo hit one of them ships, it caught on fire because all that fuel oil, it's on fire. And some of them swimming in the fire and trying to get through it to survive. A lot of them perished there. That's hard on you. I mean, none of us had ever seen anything like this. I spent a lot of times down below the equator. Of course, my main terrible battles were around Guadalcanal. That's where we really hit head on, and so many men were killed. It's something I went through. I mean, all of us that survived came back, got married, and went on with their lives. That's what I did.
I was born in Europe, in Germany to be specific. On November 9th, 1938, the Nazis went and destroyed all the Jewish stores, all the synagogues, all the handwritten Torahs were all destroyed. It's what's known as Kristallnacht or Crystal Night. And by 1939, it became very evident that Jewish people no longer had a place in Berlin. So that's when my parents made the decision this was not going to go away. We walked from Berlin to the St. Bernard's Path in the Alps. And from there we took a train to Rome. But we still had to get from Rome to Naples to get a ship. It took us like 6-7 weeks to get from Naples to Shanghai. At the pier in Shanghai, my mother looks around and I can still see her saying to my father, "What have we gotten ourselves into?" 20,000 Jewish people had gone to Shanghai and to Harbin because those were the only two ports open in the world that would allow Jewish people in. And we were okay up until Pearl Harbor hit in Germany, and Hirohito became best friends. And Germany demanded of Hirohito that he killed all Jews in China, and Japan said no. So guess what? We spent the entire Second World War in a Japanese concentration camp. Shortly after the war, President Truman was made aware of the fact you've got a lot of people sitting over there that have been trying to get out. Let's do something about it. So he took his troop ships and turned them around and brought us to the States that way. And by November of '54, I became a citizen. And by December of '54, I joined the Air Force because I always felt all these guys and gals that came over to China, they fought their way from island to island to get to us, to help us out. You know, so it was, I always felt I owed this country something, but how do you repay a country? Well, maybe you give the same service to others that was given to you.
I decided to join the Army Air Corps. We were blessed. We were living on borrowed time, and if you lived to fly 25 missions, you became a lucky bastard. And I finally got my lucky bastard certificate after I flew my 32nd. We were hit by fighters, and they shot the plane very well. We started in a slow, flat spin, and that being off oxygen, that centrifugal force pulled us down on the floor of the plane. And when we got down to under 10,000 feet, we were able to breathe. We crawled across the plane to the door, grabbed the emergency cord, pulled out, and the door flew off. And out I went. The bomb come down right in the middle of the river. And there was Germans on both sides of the river, yelling for me. So I got my choice. I could go this way or this way. So I went up this way and up a bank, and the home guard was there waiting for me. I was shipped out of there. Ended up Wetzlar. It was a transit camp. There were 350,000 in the 8th Air Force. I was lucky and blessed that I was one of them. Then again, when I was not one of the 26,000 that died in the skies over in Germany. Lost so many buddies then. But you know, when you're flying, you don't make friends because he's gone tomorrow. Yeah. Gone today and empty boat tonight. So you're only here for a short time. Enjoy it. And that's what I'm trying to do. Although it's been longer than I thought it would be.
I'm Thelma Hoffman. I joined the Army, Women's Army Corps in June 1942. In Madisonville, in front of the library, one Saturday morning, they had all the names of the men that were in. And when they read Frank Hoffman was a man I worked with when I was 13 years old. And he joined, they had that in Goodbye Dear, you'll be back in a year. So he said, I'm going to join and get it over with. So he went in. And I missed him as a friend, you know, and all. And I asked him, I said, did he care if I joined? Because they weren't taking women then. And I asked him if he cared if I joined. He said, you're free to do whatever you want. Went to Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia for my basic training. And I asked to go to motor transport school after that. So I could learn to drive. I didn't know how to drive, but they taught me how to drive. And then when I did get it, and just shuttling majors back and forth and generals back and forth from the Air Corps to the post, I said, oh, that's monotonous. So I says, can I get in the garages? And when I went to get in the garages for, did you have any experience? I said, well, I worked with my dad all my life. He fixed his own vehicles, and he'd show me everything to do. I said, I pretty well know what to do. Well, anyway, they put me in the motor pool then. I volunteered for everything. Anytime that anyone needed help, we'd go to the hospitals and visit men that come back from overseas, no arms, no legs, no. We'd help them feed a meal. I always volunteered to help people.
I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1922. After Pearl Harbor, I joined the Navy. We went across the Atlantic to England in preparation for D-Day. And on June the 6th at 6 a.m., we crossed the channel from England to France and hit the shores of Normandy. Put the ramps down, the soldiers went ashore. We had 150 soldiers that we had picked up. And I know that more than half of them just didn't make it. And it was a horrible sight. Finally, eventually they got into Paris and took over the country. But it was 2 horrible days there. I'm proud of the way that people acted when Pearl Harbor happened. It makes you proud that you went through hell over there for 4 years, but we did it. Cost us a lot of lives, but we won that war.
I graduated at 16, and my parents said they would sign because all my buddies gone in 43. So I went down with 6 or 8 other guys from Bethel, and we took the test. lo and behold, 2 of us passed. Next week was the medical. Well, I found out I needed glasses in 1943, and they wouldn't take me. So finally, I went to the draft board chair, and I said, I'm not doing right, and I'm not feeling good about this. If you're going to tell me what to do, you take me in the Army. Are you sure? And I said, yes. And we shipped overseas. I went through Paris and then got to Nuremberg, and I was stationed in Nuremberg. And I went in the 178th Engineering Company. There wasn't many people, young men in the service, that knew much about mechanics, and I'd fool around with old cars and tractors and stuff. And then I got to be assistant motor sergeant pretty quick. Basically, I think the Army made me to be more oriented, more focused the rest of my life. It makes you think ahead, you know.
I was in Vietnam from 68 to 69. I was a Fleet Marine Force Navy corpsman. I never got on a ship. As part of the Fleet Marine Force, I was assigned to an infantry platoon of Marine Corps infantry guys serving all up around the DMZ of Vietnam. 11 years after getting back from Vietnam, marrying my wife, having a small family, I chose to go back into the service after working in the grocery businesses. 20 more years of active duty. I retired in 1999. U.S. Army Infantry, 101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Here a few months ago, I was inducted into the State of Ohio Military Hall of Fame for valor in Vietnam. This is my wife, Peggy, of 45 years of marriage. I married her shortly after my return from Vietnam in 1969. She exemplifies a military spouse of not just yesterday, but of today. Peggy's always been there. She still is. I'm most proud and thankful of having the opportunity and surviving a military career. And I think a big part of that has to be the dedication and sacrifice of my military spouse. I could not have done it without her. And I just want each and every person to know how fortunate and blessed I am. I've given by far less than those that have by given far more. And I think about the 58,000 plus names that some I saved and some I wasn't able to. If every day of my life is Memorial Day, I can't help but say that.
The group that I work with got together with Habitat and got to know each other there. It was Helen's idea that we become active with the access ramps. We have done somewhere between 30, I guess, and 40 ramps. It's just fun to look at some of these people who've been managing to get along when the ramp is done, how happy they are with the results. We enjoy helping others.
Judy insists that we recognize the seniors and we bring in packages for them, and we like to see nobody in need or want.
I volunteered 7 years and Meals on Wheels.
They do come to my apartment and do the cleaning and do my laundry and things like that, which makes it a lot easier for you, you know.
I use Clermont Senior Services for transportation. Oh, they're wonderful.
The most important thing that I want to say about World War II was the patriotism. We were a united country.
It makes you proud that you went through hell over there for 4 years, but we did it. It cost us a lot of lives, but we won that war.
We'll never see another greatest generation, not in my lifetime anyway.
Go into the service and get the best education you can get.
Learn your government. Learn what you can about it and vote.
It's volunteer. I volunteered for everything. I love volunteering.
And enjoy life. You're only here for a short time, enjoy it.